there's a guy talking to me, and he is the one that opened a smoking store where you could walk into the store and everything smoking related was in the store. And he had told me he opened like quite a few locations and he was really going places or something, stuff. Well, apparently he just didn't want the credit card machine from me, but I think he might have done some things against my existence. And because of it, I guess he's taken some hits. Well, he was talking about how an angel often walks up and gives you a test, and you either pass or fail the test, and you could lose everything or lose that opportunity. But God's do it. God's really big on tests, and they'll show up like homeless people. They'll show up like a nobody, nothing, and they just want the right answer to prove to them why you're worth anything. So sadly, it's never gonna change. If an angel walks up and is homeless and talks to you, they just want to know that you wouldn't abuse anything, because obviously you have more than them at that point anyway. So God just can't stomach or forgive that you'd abuse anything when you have a life and a home and money and nice things. Why would you sit and abuse things that are overly sadistic and disturbing and sickening to abuse, right? But you might also just see the angel that's homeless and just not want to care and just walk by. But that tells the angel, well, I just don't want to care about your life and I just want to walk by. And now in reap what you sow, they have a legal right in the eyes of all gods to do it forever, sadly, if they want to, or for a certain amount of time per choice or test that they give you. So you could get a test from an angel and then they just write you off for a year or two or something. And then they show up again, try to give you another test. It could happen like that or not. It could be the only chance you get. And the guy was talking about how it sucks because you could be walking right in front of heaven and you don't know it, but your answer dictates everything that happens. Yeah, but you can't change reap what you sow. You know, I've been so degraded and mistreated by countries and more, and murdered and more, that you're going to have angels and gods and children of gods everywhere acting like homeless nobodies, acting smart or insightful while looking like poor nothing. You're going to have a lot of these things. And that's how they decide what you deserve. And sadly, gods will never change this. This is like the holy grail to gods. If you treat them bad, well, then they want to treat you bad because they don't really like the planet anymore anyway for abusing a dead god. I mean, that is the biggest crime in existence. If you treat them just, I don't really want to know you, then see, kind of they don't really want to know you either. So see how the reap what you sow becomes like really great, valuable stuff because it's really what they want to say. It's kind of like an angel is walking up to you saying, you're not good people. I don't want to waste my powers or my energy or my excessively beautiful life in heaven over your existence anymore because this planet is so evil and bad. Can you prove to me why I should care? And that's what they're doing when they disguise themselves and they're waiting for someone to give them the right answer. But he's right, sadly, you give them the wrong answer and boy, in 2 seconds you're just screwed because the wrong answer, and well, they wanted to hate you deep down anyway. You know, you have to remember, gods work their butts off. So a god, okay, so people get up. Let's say it's a really good business owner. This really good business owner wakes up real early. A good dedicated business owner, especially of like a big corporation, someone wakes up like 4 o'clock in the morning and works all the way to like midnight. Sometimes they barely go home to sleep a little bit, or sometimes they sleep at the office. Gods would make all of that look like nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, if one of those people hung out with gods, they'd think their life and their work actually became nothing. So, they need to know why you're worth all the work. Guess genes don't build themselves. And that Cabbage Patch doll don't impress the babies by itself. It's a lot of work. Gods have to put a lot of power, a lot of wealth, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of focus into everything that they do. If a god claims your company, they have to take care of your managers, your employers, your businesses that everybody does business with. Everything becomes something that gods have to deal with and use their powers for and work really hard to work on. So you really got to make it worth it for a god to care and want to give you nice things and work hard and care that you exist, kind of a thing. So really, if I could tell everybody advice, I'd just say, my queen, my queen, my queen. Run right to my queen, my queen, my queen, and just work on it now. So if you ever have a divine appointment, if they ever give you a divine moment where you're in front of heavens, you'll just answer right, because you'll know like the basics. And when you learn the basics to respect all things, be appropriate towards all things. But you can learn some little hints as to when you might be around heavens, and your answers are everything. They'll always make sure you can't cheat the system. They'll give you hints, but whenever they show up, you can't cheat. You will always say what's in your heart, what's in your soul, what you really want to say. So don't try to cheat the system. Gods aren't dumb. But you can get a lot of hints. So you just maybe have in your heart and soul that basic respect for life has a right to exist. Something that stupid and simple would make you say the right answer every time you get a test.